What's up everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Josh Perry. I'm a former professional BMX athlete, multiple brain tumor survivor, keto coach, and public speaker. You can learn more about me and all that I'm up to here on this channel as well as on my Instagram at JoshPerryBMX. The third step to burning fat and fueling our brains, which is my favorite step for too many reasons to put in this video, is keto, which is short for ketosis. Ketosis is simply a metabolic state where we're producing ketones in our bloodstream as a byproduct of the liver metabolizing or burning fatty acids. This can only occur once glycogen stores are chronically lowered and the body then shifts to looking at fat for fuel. Once glycogen stores are low enough that the body can turn to fat for fuel, the body will begin metabolizing dietary and body fat stores for fuel. To which one it primarily burns for fuel depends on fat adaptation and the amounts of fat consumed in comparison to one's goal of body fat to burn. The only difference here from the metabolic reset is that we're gonna cut out sweet potatoes, carrots, and berries for at least 6 weeks to give our bodies a full chance at adapting to fat for fuel. Then we must have a basic understanding of what macronutrients are, the macronutrient ratio to facilitate ketosis, biomarkers, fat adaptation, and electrolytes. Macronutrients are essential fatty acids, or fat, essential amino acids, or protein, and carbohydrates, and all these macronutrients provide the body with fuel and the building blocks for cellular repair. Notice how there is no essential carbohydrates, since the body can make its own carbohydrates from the process I mentioned earlier, known as gluconeogenesis. Gluconeogenesis isn't only a stress response mechanism. It naturally occurs while on a ketogenic diet to keep our blood sugar stable, and it fuels certain cells like our liver and our red blood cells. Next, the macronutrient ratio to facilitate ketosis will vary person to person and is why measuring blood glucose and blood ketone levels is so important. A basic rule of thumb is to start for the average person with about 75% fat, 20% protein, and 5% carbohydrate macronutrient ratio. Keep in mind the carbohydrate recommended would be from non-starchy vegetables, avocados, technically a fruit, some nuts, seeds, and their derivative butters. The macronutrient ratios will depend on the individual and their blood testing for glucose and ketones to see how they respond. I'd recommend getting a baseline glucose reading and then after about 2 weeks of implementing keto ratios, test again and make changes based on how you respond after 2 weeks of following ketogenic macronutrient ratios along with testing for blood ketones after that 2-week mark. Keto Coach is a great device to measure blood ketones and soon they're gonna be offering glucose as well. I personally use Keto Coach for measuring ketones and will 100% use Keto Coach once glucose is available by them, but Precision Extra and Keto Mojo are great devices that measure both glucose and ketones. Now, I personally purchased and use these devices. They're not paying me to say these things and I'm not affiliated with them in any way, I'm just sharing. Now, fat adaptation is also something that's very important that people often miss as well. Basically, when we're transitioning from sugar burning to fat burning, there is this period where the body and the brain fight over ketones until the muscles understand and become efficient at burning fatty acids primarily, leaving ketones primarily for the brain. After about 4 weeks following a ketogenic diet, a person can begin adapting to fat for fuel when considering mitochondrial biogenesis or the creation of new mitochondria, and glycogen stores begin to reabsorb glycogen. The mitochondria are what take oxygen and food and make our body energy currency known as ATP and begin to die and come back a bit more adapted each time to burning fat and ketones, and they recycle over the course of every 1 to 2 weeks on average. Now it takes about 5 of these half-lives for the mitochondria to become well adapted to burning fat and ketones, and it's why I recommend following a ketogenic diet for at least 12 weeks to see the benefits of fat and keto adaptations really occur. Now during this time, physical performance will go down a bit, but around that 4 to 6 week mark is when people start to see that stabilize, and then it may actually improve over time and months down the road as recent studies have shown adaptations occurring beyond even a year while following a ketogenic diet. Another point people often refer to is the keto flu, where they experience flu-like symptoms, which can easily be corrected with adding in enough sodium, other electrolytes, and exogenous ketones. Another common cause of the keto flu is from people not fully adapting from fat due to the hidden sugars they don't look out for, eating carbs in abundance on the weekends, or straight up not tracking what they eat or having a macronutrient plan to even follow. Basically, they're on the fence about keto and never allowing their mitochondria to fully adapt to fat and ketone metabolism.